Welcome to the video for this session. We saw in previous sessions how you can use Microsoft Excel's functions for doing statistical functions. This lesson talks about how you do text functions. The functions we'll be talking about are the left, right, mid, and concatenate function. For this video, I'm using still the sample files that you can download. I'm working on a worksheet called text functions. In the spreadsheet, we have a list of students and their student numbers. We have their first name and their last name. And what I want to be able to do here is to be able to parse off parts of their student number. Let's say, for example, that the first 4 digits to the left of the student number is significant. Maybe it is the program that they're registered in, for example. So what I want to be able to do is to parse off the first 4 characters from cell A2 and put the answer over in cell D2. And to do this, I'll be using a function called the left function. So starting off in cell D2, I'll start a formula with an equal sign. I'll go back to the function button. I'll click on the drop-down arrow. And in the drop-down list, I'll look for the function called left. It's not here, so I'll go to more functions at the lower part of the window. I'll click in the lower part of this window on any function name, and I'll quickly type the word left. It finds left, and it tells me lower down that it returns a specified number of characters from the start of a text string. I'll click OK. It now wants to know what cell has the information that I want to parse off. So in this case, it'll be cell A2. It wants to know how many characters I want to parse off. I'll click on num characters and type in a 4. You can see here the response is going to be M123, which is the first 4 characters from the first student number. I'll click OK. I'll copy this down for all the other students in the list. So that's an example of using a text function called left. Here's another similar one called right. In this case, I want to be able to parse off the last 3 characters from here. This might be the community that they're from, or maybe it's their funding source that the student has. So I want to use the right function to parse off the last 3 characters to the right of cell A2. So I'm in E2. I'll start a formula. I'll look for the function called right. I'll click on the lower part of the window. I'll type right. It returns a specified number of characters from the end of a text string. I'll click OK. And again, it wants to know what cell holds the text that I want to parse off from. In this case, it will be A2. You can see the actual code over here. I'll click on num characters. I'll type in a 3. I want to pull off the last 3 characters. You can see for the first one, I'll be pulling off 500, which is the last 3 characters of A2. I'll click OK, and I get the response of 500, and I'll copy that down. Here's another example of a text function. This time what I want to do is parse things off for the middle of a text string. So in this case, I want to start with the 3rd character of the first student, which will be number 2 in this case, and then parse off the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th character. So starting with the 3rd character, I want to parse off 4 characters. So this is called the mid function, short form for middle. So equal, go to my function button, look for one called mid, returns the characters from the middle of a text string, giving a starting position and length. I'll click OK. It wants to know where am I going to pull information from. It's A2 again. The start number is going to be a 3. I want to start with the 3rd character in the text string, and then I want to know how many characters I want to pull. So I want to start with a 3rd character and pull 4 characters off from there, which will be 2, 3, 4, 5. The 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, the 6th character. Starting with the 3rd one, pull off 4 characters, and OK, and I get 2, 3, 4, 5 as the answer. And I'll copy that down, and I get the answers for all the other students in the list. And finally, the last one I want to do in this video is sort of the reverse of those first 3. This last one is called concatenate. What concatenate does, it strings together things. So this time we're going to be putting things back together. What I want to do here is I want to have the first student's last name show up, then a comma and a space. Then I want to have the student's first name show up, then a space, a dash, a space, and then their student number. And the reason you might do this is if you want to do a mail merge using Microsoft Excel as the source, which I'm not doing in this video, but if you want to do a mail merge with Microsoft Excel as a source, maybe you want to produce labels for folders, and on those labels you want to have the student's last name, then their first name, and then their student number all strung together. So this function is called concatenate. Concatenate is for stringing things together. So I'll start a formula. I'll look for a function called concatenate. And what this does is join several text strings into one text string. I'll click OK. and it only gives me 2 boxes to work with. But as I work, this window will grow to me text 3, text 4, and so on. So the first thing I want is the first student's last name. Then I'll go to text 2. I just touch tab on my keyboard to move to text 2. I type a comma and a space. I'll touch tab again to move to text 3. And as I do this, you'll notice that the boxes in this window grow. I want to put the first student's first name in, which is in cell B2. I can see what's happening in my window here. I can see the last name, comma, space, their first name. I'll go to text 4. Now I could put another comma in, but just to mix things up, I'll put a space, a dash, and a space. I'll touch tab to go to text 5. You can see what's happening. And finally, I put the student number in, and I can now see last name, first name, and student number. Now you notice that the boxes stop growing. If I had a need to put a text 6 in, for example, I would just touch tab again on the keyboard to put text 6 in. I'm finished now. I'll click OK. I'll go to the bottom right corner of that cell, get a black cross, and double click. I'll just clean this up by making this column wider. So go up in the column headers and do a double click. And now I have a concatenate formula that strings together last names, first names, and student numbers. Those are 4 text functions that you can use on a regular basis for parsing off or combining things together